Good morning.
How is everybody doing today?
Yeah.
It looks like a hologram.
That's it. I'm in the matrix.
Yes. Are you even there? Are you even a real person?
I'm a figment of your imagination.
Yes.
Trust me on that.
Are you in the metaverse right now?
I'm in our own metaverse, the EXP metaverse. So
What's up, boys?
What's going on, Mitch?
What's going on?
Hey, Michael, how's it going?
Michael,
how are you, buddy?
coming in hot. There he is. I love it.
Better than I deserve, brother.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Thanks for being on. You were the surprise guest, so now it's not a surprise, but
Woohoo! Surprise!
yeah, he's here. That's
Surprise! What's
I
going
love
on,
it.
Mary?
We're gonna bring. Let's see who else. I'm just getting everybody situated as far as
Oh, good.
on this.
Are we missing on? Let me take a look.
Calls. I'm bringing on all the panelists, so just bear with me. All right, I think we're ready to go. Is Cameron on here? I heard he killed it last week.
Oh, yeah. He even had me on TikTok. I was like,
Oh.
I'm like a TikTok machine now.
Are you really?
No, not really. I'm going to try. He convinced me that I need to try. That was definitely the takeaway.
I like that. All right. Well, let's start it up and see who's going to be on this. I mean, we have Mitch Ribak out of Orlando, Florida. We have Bobby Martins, otherwise known as the Realtor of the Year in San Diego. There he is. And he didn't get it for his hair. He got it for his production. Just so you guys know.
Unbelievable.
That was a question.
Finally, I win something other than a hair contest.
You win the hair contest every year. And then you get Greg Lurch out of Philly and my good friend and VIP guest, Michael J. Mayer out of Referco out of Kansas. And Mike is a fascinating guy. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of the 7L, but he wrote a great book called the 7L and the 7L Principles and the Generosity Generation. So it's going to be in alignment with our topic today. And our topic today, and hopefully this helps everyone and gives them a lot of great nuggets, is how can you tap into your database and get 5, 10x production from that database. So we're going to go around the horn and get some ideas, and then I'm going to come back to the VIP guest, to Michael, and have Michael kind of share a lot of great stuff. You can see the 7L in the background. I love it. 7L, right? And it's one of my favorite things I've learned recently, and I'm going to be applying that to my production and my team out here in San Diego. So let's go around the horn. Craig, what have you been doing recently? And I'm putting you on the spot because it's 12 o'clock where you are, so you should be awake.
Okay, so I guess I'm awake and gotta go.
Yeah, what have you been doing recently to really tap into your database to pull referrals and in production out of your database?
Going back to what we talked about 6-7 weeks ago, and if you haven't watched, you should go back. Touching base with them, calling. We talked about this thing is a minefield of money. I've got 4,200 contacts in it. 10% of them are going to do some kind of real estate this year. Let's assume half of them. That still is 200 transactions or referrals. The only way they know that I care is if I'm calling, and I'm not asking for business when I'm calling. I'm just calling to check how they are. And I'm constantly staying on top, then sending a thank you note, then sending a text every couple months, and then following up again. And it's working because now people that didn't think about selling are, because of the conversation we talked about that Matt and you guys were adding in last week, that the end's going to come. We're 6 months out of where the rest of the world's going to get it. We're seeing it now. So if you want to get your gold pot, now's the time to get your money and get your gold pot. So that's exactly this thing right here. Pick it up and use it.
Planting the seeds right now.
We are planting the seeds that we talked about, that this is going to switch in 6 months. If you want to capitalize and thinking about moving in the next 5 years, now's the moment. If not, shoulda, coulda, wouldas aren't going to matter.
What's going to cause it to shift in 6 months? What's in your feelings on that?
Well, what we've all been talking about is the interest rates changing. You've got the market is not going to have more inventory. It's just going to, buyers are going to start getting frustrated that buyers that did buy are backing out. And a lot of them are just going to put their cleats in because they're going to say, oh, the market isn't giving me what I wanted before. So that's where I'm seeing the slowdown. We are going to see foreclosures come out in the city of Philadelphia. They aren't doing any right now. They're still like on that hiatus of forcing it, but that stuff's going to come out. It's just a matter of if and when.
Like that. I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty out there. I don't know if anybody was following it, but the 2-year treasury yield and the 10-year hit an inflection point yesterday, which is a key kind of indicator that recessionary times could be around the corner. So I know they're talking about that, and people are saying, hey, we're not going to go into a recession. It's tough to predict that. And I think to project it with everything that's going on, but I do believe that the Fed's going to raise that rate 0.5 point next month at their meeting. So if you have any buyers on the shelves, you guys, just remember, tap into your database and suggest all these people and advise them that they should be finding a place to buy right now, because you need a purchase and sale agreement to lock into that rate. And if you're floating, you're going to float right along with the rate, and everything floats up. So just remember that. That's a big, big thing. Let's go to Bobby.
Hold on, Pete, you said something last one of the meetings before, real quick.
Yeah.
That 1% interest rate, I think we calculated, is equal to 13% in a sale price. So buyers are functioning on payment. So remember, that payment is what it's going to do. That seller could lose 13% more value in their house just by the interest rate. That's what I'm saying to my clients. If the interest rate goes up 1 point, that could affect you 1% or 13% in your sale price that we ultimately get, because the buyers are looking at payment. They're not looking at what they're paying. So.
Exactly. Well, everything derives from monthly payment in a lot of ways. And that's how people are making decisions along lines of gasoline. I mean, if you look at it, gas, electric, fuel, food, they're looking at all of it right now. And, there's a lot of uncertainty with that. But the good news is the housing market's still pumping. We're still in positive territory. Everything's going great as far as that. And the rates are still phenomenal when compared to what historically normal rates should be at, 6 to 7%. I think we're fluctuating around 4.5 right now. That will change, and you have to advise people, and you have to be honest with them and really guide them. That's a big thing. So Mitch, how are you tapping into, I know you have a gigantic database. How are you tapping into that database to 5 or 10x your production?
Yeah, I just show up at their houses and rub their bellies. It's worked really well for me. All right, so I get about 2 hours worth of material I'm going to put into about 3 minutes. So one thing we've done really, really well with is using our database to do webinars. So emailing them, doing webinars on, foreclosures, what to expect in the market with the interest rates going up, whatever subject you want, but you utilize your database. If you have this check, ours is 57,000, people, right? Which, by the way, I sold it 6 months ago, so I'm not doing it anymore. I'm done. But this is how we generated business forever off of our database. Grouping is really important. Organizing your database is so important. It could be by city, it could be price range. We had, high-end buyers, low-end buyers. We didn't spend a lot of time chasing the low-end buyers. We didn't want to miss out on the high-end buyers. People we showed property to that didn't buy. Those are all different groups within our database. Just again, and I'm glad to share. Bobby, I'll get you for the Google sheet. I'll get you a link to all of our drip campaigns and groupings. Having a good solid drip campaign is important. Looking for people to raise their hand. So what we've been doing recently with our agents, it's worked really well, is we have them using a program like MailChimp to send out market updates once a month rather. So most boards will send you a list of market updates. So we send through MailChimp, and then only putting into the CRM the people that raise their hand. And one of the questions on there, I'll put out here real quickly, is the beginning of the letter that goes out, the email is, so one of the things I like to do with my friends and family is to keep them updated on what the market is in Brevard County, Florida. And then we plug in an infographic with the market stats. And then the last line always is, as a realtor, we work by referral only, and I could really, really use your help. If you know someone looking to buy or sell, could you please send me their contact info? That goes out once a month. And then we take another one and we send it out every 2 weeks after that, which is the top 10 things to do that month in Brevard County, Florida. And I'll give you an example. One of my agents who just did this recently, in her first 2 months, got 4 listings and 2 buyers. Right? Very powerful. And because, one of the things that people forget, why do people use you as a realtor? By the way, notice I didn't say realtor, is a realtor. Drives me crazy. So why do they use you? They use you because you're in front of them at the moment they're thinking about buying or selling. Like Pete, I want to give you kudos, Pete, because I've been in your car, and Pete's literally, when we're in the car, he doesn't talk to me at all. I mean, I'll go visit Pete for 4 days, and he might say, "Hey, Mitch," but it's pick up the phone, calling his circle of influence all the time. How about this opportunity? How about this opportunity? It's amazing, and that's why he's successful. But everybody knows 10 realtors. So why are they in front of you? Why are they going to use you? It's because you're in front of them at that moment. That's why we came up with this MailChimp touch promotion. It's worked really, really well for the agents that have used it. The other thing we use a database for is people out of the area, right? So people out of the area, if you're looking to buy or sell, picking the wrong agent could cost you thousands and thousands of dollars. So it's a great way to build a referral business using your database, right? People out of area. And then finally, because who's in your database based on their price range and in their city and state, when you get a new listing that's going to be coming up in the next week or two, get it out to your database first, right? Get it out to your database first. So that way you're not, you're double ending, because that's the goal right now in this business, is to double end everything you can, right? So those listen, I could go on for hours about database stuff, but those things, the classes are great. We would get, sometimes on our classes, we get 700 or 800 people on our classes, and then we give them to all of our agents, go follow up. Now, they didn't, but if they did, they would have killed it. So, there you go.
And I think those are great ideas. Can you share with anybody the classes or the themes of the classes that you did?
Yeah, most of we did first-time home buyer classes.
Okay.
In the tough market, you don't need this right now, but how to sell your home in a tough market, right? Same thing. Honestly, a lot of the conversations that we have here on Top Producer Panel is things that you can be using for subject matter. How do you buy a home in this market? I think would be killing. That's a great one for your database right now, because we were all dealing with buyers that are not paying attention, right? Until they lose 2 or 3 or 4 homes. But stuff like that, just keep it. I'm a simple guy. I like to keep things simple. I don't do complicated things. I don't throw out really complicated numbers. But you can do things that get a little more, short sales. Again, some things aren't relevant at the market right now. You got to base on the market. Right now, the biggest class I'd be doing, if you have a database, you should be doing a class on how to buy a home in today's market.
All the strategies to win the bid and so forth, right?
Everything we've talked about here.
Do you do these classes like on Zoom calls or webinars, or do you do them in person?
Webinars. Yeah, I have GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar rather. .com. I'm one of the original people. I don't even use it that much anymore, but I pay $99 a month, and now it's like $1,000 a month for the same program. So I just keep paying the $99 a month. But yeah, but you can do it on Zoom, and I think your Zoom webinar sold up to 500 people.
And Mitch, when you do those, how do you promote it? Are you promoting it? Are you boosting it on social media where you created an ad, or what?
Yeah, everything. So we do we're emailing our database, right? And that's literally all we had to do is email our database. Sure, put it on social media, LinkedIn, everything out there, Facebook. But really what I'm trying to do is when we work our database, we're looking for our active people. So I'll give you an example. Out of our 57,000 people in our database, 8,000 are active. And active to me means they've opened the email in the last 30 to 60 days, right? That's an active lead. So so that's what I'm trying to find is make more people more active. So if I do that webinar and all of a sudden they say, hey, I should look at those listings, we can tell when they log in, right? From we send them a list of properties and they click on the button that comes into the website. We know they've done that. And that's how we know they're active. So when we're always trying to do this stuff, we're trying to create more activity within the website. obviously. And then of course, we're trying to get people to call the people, our agents to call the people who showed up for the class.
You're really directing it towards the 7.5% of your database who's somewhat active.
Yeah.
Right?
So the biggest thing is don't chase people that aren't active. You know, one of the challenges is so many people who chase people who are sitting there. So I got 57,000. I'm only care about 8,000. Right. And it's not about, I mean, 8,000 is a lot of friggin' leads, right? That are active. And so to me, it's like, why would I bother the other 49,000, whatever that number is, right? When I have 8,000 that are on the site all the time. And in our site, we can go back and look who's been on the last 24 hours. Like I can tell you pretty much on any given day, 1,000 people log into our site. You know, so, you know, the better your tools, the easier it is. So.
Yeah, you can see it on your site, their activity, right? Okay, that's great. And how, I mean, is anybody utilizing certain tools to get people motivated in this market? For instance, instead of saying, hey, I have a new listing coming up and promoting the price, you promote the terms to show them that they're capable of doing it.
No, I love that though. We don't do that, but I love that.
You guys, that'll separate you from everyone because everybody always gives the price. If you get the price, why even call? Most of the people psych themselves out. They say, oh, it's, you know, Mitch is here. It's 700,000. I don't have 700 grand, or I'm not going to buy an investment for 700,000. But if you lead them down the path and say, hey, it's not 700,000, you can get in with 35,000 down and it's going to cost you $24.50 a month. You know, it's going to get the phone ringing. And that's what people have to look at. I think that's super, super important in this market. Everybody keeps doing it the same way and expecting a different result. Bobby, what have you been doing? Bobby Martin's Realtor of the Year from San Diego. There he is. Big achievement last week. He's back in action from his big win on stage. He didn't slap anyone. Nothing else happened when he picked up his award. I'm just letting you guys know, full disclosure.
Just my wife's ass is the only thing I smacked. So that was
Oh,
it.
geez.
It was a great moment, and you know, I got to give you some credit because I wouldn't be in the position I am without you, Mr. Pete Middleton, as you were the guy who got me off started just about 20 years ago. Actually, we're about 2 months away from 20 years in the business. So thank you for hiring me and bringing me on.
Oh, it's good. It was a good hire. I'm proud of you. So
yeah,
you've done really well.
So Pete, I go in to meet Pete just to say hi, and then it turns into an interview. I was just asking questions about the market. It was a friend of a friend introduced us, and then you know, next thing I know, it's like a job interview, and he's like, "You're going to be on my team, and we're going to kill it." I totally remember like it was yesterday, and you delivered on everything you said that you were going to do, and for that I'm forever grateful. All right, let's go in. I got some buckets here, so get your pens ready. And first here, definitely Mitch touched on this quite a bit. Sellers, buyers, investors. Obviously, those are three. You also want to have your move up or move down people. So you could say you know, seller and buyer tag. If you're not using hashtags in your CRM, first off, if you don't have a CRM that has hashtags, you can put people into buckets, then you need to get a new one. I'm using KV Core for my team, and it works pretty effectively with you know, the hashtags and being able to filter people. And what's nice about this is obviously if you have a great listing that's in a tremendous value and it's in a specific area, let's say it's East County, you can say, okay, you know what, I want to send this out to every buyer I have in my database that is in East County. If you have those two tags in your system, then it's obviously easy to filter that, and you're going to get some sales out of it, guaranteed. There's a lot of different types of videos that you can do that is also gearing towards whether they're a buyer or a seller. One of the things that I'm really working on is flipping the script and doing the trade-in option. I had a brand new agent on my team host the open house about a month ago, and 2 days ago got his first deal in escrow, 1.165. I can't even, like, you know, that's your first deal is $1 million deal. It's crazy, but you know, he did it. He pulled these people in, got them approved, And now we're going to take their $700,000 listing. So he got about $2 million worth of business from one open house. And so, obviously open houses work. You want to make sure you're creating ponds in your CRM of all of your open house leads. If you're a team, if you have a team and everybody's doing open houses every weekend, you might want to go ahead and create ponds of that, put all the leads in there. Doesn't matter what agent it is. I know certain teams will do like by Tuesday, end of day Tuesday, they will, it'll be fair game. Like if I did an open house on Sunday and I didn't call the person on Monday or Tuesday night, it's fair game for anybody on the team. But what's nice about it is everybody, is going after it. So if you have 10 people on your team and they all did open houses, all those leads are going into the pond. So I can call on other people's open houses and vice versa. Again, if they didn't call that lead, it's all about maximizing the business. And, some of these open house leads, they're 5, 6, 7 months down the road. So you got to keep calling them and make sure that you bring them in. This is a no-brainer. Obviously, watch your dashboard. On your dashboard, it's going to tell you every single day who to call. And it's also going to tell you who is in your database and how many properties they looked at. And so, you could obviously easily send them a quick text message. Hey, I saw you were looking at XYZ property. Do you want to take a look at it? Have you gotten your financing set up? Pete taught me a long time ago, always bring a loan. That's the first thing you should always be trying to get. That's a nice little way to pull the buyer in, is by making sure they have the right lender in place. And so, let's see here. Also with the hashtags, golf. I like to play golf. So I actually hashtag people that also like to play golf, so that if I have a foursome and maybe I need somebody, I can just send out a quick message via text or via email and get my fourth that way. Lenders, investors, your vendors even. Okay, so I have everybody in buckets as far as vendors go under what's called the Commitment to Excellence program. I basically put together a one-page document that basically is telling the vendors that I work with that you need to adhere to these standards with my clients if you want my business. And so I sit down with them. I make sure that they don't have a referral partner in San Diego for realtors, because obviously you want your referral partners giving you business. And so I will sit down with them, set the expectations, and every single time I do this, they literally are like, wow, nobody's ever done this. You must really care about your clients. You must really care about the process. And I do care. So that makes them put me on a pedestal. And then and I also train these guys, when you go to one of my clients' house, you better compliment the shit out of me to my clients. That's a big thing that everybody should do, especially your lender, because that's obviously the first handoff that you're going to do. And if the lender's not properly selling you, you're going to obviously have trouble keeping some clients. A few things that have been very effective: video CMAs. Take 5 clients a week, past clients, 10 past clients a week. Do a quick video CMA. Some of these people would be shocked to see what their house is actually worth. And so I would definitely do that. We're using HomeBot on everybody. We talked about flipping the script. On your past buyers, anybody who's a past buyer, you should be sending them information about doing the trade-in. Because think about it, if you can get every single past buyer pre-approved, buy a house without selling their existing house, and then you just set them up on the property search, they're going to call you one day and say, hey, Bobby, a house came up down the street that's bigger than ours and better than ours, and we want to move into that house. So we want to put in a cash offer. That's the program that I was telling you earlier about my new guy, Tyler. He made him a cash buyer. We got the deal, out 6 or 7 other offers. So these are the things, like if we're calling people and saying, hey, I'm the best listing agent in town, I can sell your house for 20% over list, big deal. Almost every agent in town can do that right now. So, but where are they going to go is the question. Another thing that I think is very effective is referral contests. I've been doing referral contests for about 15 years. I stopped during COVID. I'm going to start it up again. We do a party every single year, and we do a drawing, and we do all kinds of prizes to our referral partners. Anybody who gives us a referral or uses our services get a ticket to get into the drawing, and then we do the drawing, and everybody wins a bunch of prizes. That's been a great program over the year. Let's see. Another thing I just thought about recently that I'm working on is a VIP club. So look at your database, look at all of your best referrers, your past clients that were your best past clients, your high net worth individuals, your best investors, and send them a send out card with brownies or cookies, and inform them that they are now part of your VIP club. And it's a very select group of people. You are our favorite past client referral partner of our 20-year career. So that's something that I'm working on right now. I think it's going to make them feel special. And then we're going to do VIP parties for those people, you know, groups of 20, spend some money on them and make them feel good, because you spend $2,000 on a group of 20, I guarantee you that's going to be a 10x, if not 100x return on your investment, because these are your best clients that you have. Make sure you're using newsletters every single week. And then here's a great thing that a lot of people don't do, and it's a little higher end, you know, it's a higher level. Export your entire database, or at least your best leads and all your past clients. Export that into a CVS or CSV file, and then upload that into Facebook. You can do targeting to your people in Facebook, so that way all of your people are seeing your ads and seeing all of the things that you're doing on Facebook and other sites. So that's a very effective tool. And I think that's it.
Wow, that was a lot of stuff. First of all,
rapid fire, baby.
Well, I'm a little confused. I know you're coming off your big Oscar win. I mean, Realtor of the Year win. It's like the Oscars, right, in San Diego. Commitment to excellence. I thought you were a Patriots fan with me. Commitment to excellence is the Raiders slogan. What the hell's going on? All right. Now, all these people want the commitment to excellence.
Give a shit about the Raiders, but
I know that. So share the commitment to excellence in the chat box if you can, because a lot of people want to see how you write that up. Bobby does a phenomenal job. He is a CRM master, I call it. He's really good at touching base and getting people engaged and so forth. So Bobby, who sets up the home bot? Do you set it up, or does the lenders set it up?
So every realtor in California gets HomeBot for free, so you don't need to do it with your lender. Get your own account. And so what I do is I have my assistant here right behind me. He's not here today. He's on a boys trip in Phoenix. This is Tyler, the guy I was talking about. So anyways, he'll pull up all the comps, and then he'll drop the link into the CRM, and then I'll do a quick video CMA, and then he'll set them up on HomeBot. As soon as we close, he'll also set them up on HomeBot so that they're getting these updates. HomeBot's a great tool. You know, the open rate's very high on it, and so it's pretty effective.
What do you use to do the video CMA? What program?
BombBomb, baby. If you're not using BombBomb, guys, it is a must have to any business. I use BombBomb for all of my offers. When I'm submitting an offer, I'm sending a video. When you know, I mean, basically anything and everything. A lead comes in, I'm sending them a BombBomb video. Hey, nice to meet you. I'm Bobby Martins. You know, we'd love to sit down with you, learn more about your real estate needs. You know, here's what makes me different. You know, you got to have your USB down in 30 seconds. If you don't, then you lose them. So everybody needs to work on their unique selling proposition and have their 30-second commercial down pat so that you can do these videos quick. And then the one thing you got to demand of yourself is one take anytime you do a video. You just got to go into it one take, stay focused, because if it's not one takes, I guarantee you it's 10 takes. And I can attest. I've done 30 videos for one video before. I mean, it's crazy. So you got to get it done in one. I call it one and done.
And that's good. And you have to remember, guys, too, when you do that, it's more authentic. It's more realistic, right? It's going to connect with people better. People know you're not perfect. You're going to stumble. Don't worry about it.
It still turns out perfect.
Yeah, same for Bobby. It does. He's got a hair and makeup guy. He's got somebody brushing his teeth. He's got everything going, right?
Hey, you know what? Everybody makes mistakes. 2 weeks ago, I sent out a one video to 75 people, and I accidentally did the one before it. It was 34 seconds, and at the very end, I'm like, oh, damn it. And I turned it off, and that's the one that got sent, not the one that I did right afterwards. So you can make mistakes. It's no big deal. It is what it is.
Hey, Bobby, can I ask you a quick question? What was the company?
Gentlemen, the #1 EXP agent in the world.
There he is.
That Battiato!
Hey, what company do you use for, to where they can buy another home before they sell their home, et cetera? What was that company?
Homelight is one of them. And another one is New American Funding. And I'll go ahead and give you guys a phone number to my longtime lender, Rich Mara. Been a friend for about 15 years. Wonderful, wonderful guy. Hopefully you guys can reach out to him and find out more about the program. His phone number, I don't want my phone, I don't know why my phone's acting slow. I'll put it into the chat so everybody has it in a second.
So it's Homelight, which is different than the Homelight that, you get leads from, or is it the same?
Oh, it's the same. Yeah, it's the same. It's the Homelight Mortgage, and then Homelight. So they got two different divisions. They also have Homelight Escrow. Rich Mara's phone number is 858-357-6280. I'll throw it in the chat along with the commitment to excellence document. Do me a favor, tweak it a little bit if you're going to steal it.
And then one other question. Somebody mentioned a company last time we were on, I think, that was a company that does something like you can buy a house, or you can something like you make a commitment to sell your house and then they give you like 10 grand or something. Does anyone remember that? It's really strange. I can't remember.
Are you talking about like a cash advance?
Like sell whenever you want or something? No, it's like they make a commitment to sell their home, but they don't sell right now and they actually get some money.
It might be Fly Homes, or maybe
it's not Fly Homes.
It might be a Homelight.
It's not Homelight. The Homelight's
there's a program. I can't remember the name of it, Matt. There's a company out there that does that. You're committing to. Yeah, you're committing. I don't understand why anybody would do that personally, but
yeah.
Well, I mean, if they can get their cash in hand, that then they're a strong
just get
buyer.
A little cash, though.
No. What it is you pay this company X amount of dollars, and you reserve to lock in them as their. It's very bizarre. Them as their. No, they pay you. I'm sorry, they'll pay you X amount of dollars. Like I heard as low as $500, but so they give you $500 for 10,000 in San Diego. But you have to use them as a listing when you decide to sell your house.
Bobby, you e-blast the weekly newsletter, right?
So we don't do it weekly. We do a monthly e-blast, and then I try to do some emails to buckets of leads, every so often. I'll be honest, I'm not as good as I used to be on that stuff. I mean, we've been we do a good job with it, but it's not. It's been so busy, sometimes you drop off of doing it on a regular basis. And with the newsletter, I actually dropped off all of COVID. We weren't doing any email newsletters. We were just so busy. And but we recently picked it back up, and which is good because you want to stay in front of people. Had a past client reach out. We got them into escrow this week. Took them 2 weeks. 4% commission, 1.9, and that I believe that was from the emails that we were sending. So
I mean, Bobby's
you gotta stay front of mind. That's the key. That's what's great about these people. Already know you and love you. And then one more tip: make sure every single person in your phone is also in your database. And if you're not calling everybody in your phone regularly and checking in with them and seeing how you can help them and letting them know that you're in real estate, then you go and spend a bunch of money on leads. That's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. People are spending way too much money on leads, and they're not doing the basics because either they're weak salespeople or they're shy or something. Something's preventing people from going to the people that they already know and like, and they like them. So always go after your CRM. That's the ticket.
Okay, great tips. We got to move on to Matt Battiata before he tells me that he's not, he's not bragging. He's just applying for a job, right? So, Matty, how are you tapping into your database? I know you're the #1 agent in the world for EXP. Congratulations. I know I can tell that because of your hair, but that's what it takes. You have to sacrifice something. And how are you tapping into your database to 10x that, especially right now? Give me some nuggets.
It's really hard to follow Bobby Martins, I'll tell you. But so many of the things that he mentioned, I'm going to simplify it. So I do email. I also use BombBomb, which are just putting videos right into your emails. And I also, I go back to all of our past clients, and what I've been doing lately is really just saying, look, the market is, I believe, at a peak or close to a peak, and it's always good to be early. And again, if you don't want to be in your house for the next 5 years, because I know the majority of baby boomers do not want to be in their homes for the next 5 years. And so I like to get into, I probably touched on this before, but nothing goes up forever, and our market does cycles. And I've charted the market retroactively for the last 50 years in San Diego. And, we do these peaks and valleys and peaks and valleys and peaks and valleys. And so when the baby boomer generation, they were all getting ready to sell in 2019, 2020, but then COVID hit. And of course, everything's gone up. But when they look back at what the market has done historically, for example, they look at where their homes, and I did a BombBomb video on this, and I just said, look at what your home value was in 2006, 2007. Look what it dropped to. Look how long it took to get back to those 2006 levels. It took till about 2015. So about 10 years. So if we go into a market decline, it'll take 10 years to get back to where we are now. So I say, if you don't want to be in your house for 5 to 10 years, you should capitalize. You should really consider capitalizing on the current market. Then the question comes is, where are they going to go? But then I hit them on, look, we can sell your house. We can give you some breathing room. You don't need to be out immediately. You could go rent for a while, et cetera. The biggest obstacle that I find with home sellers in general, I'm sure we all do, is I could sell my house for a fortune, but where am I going to go? I can't afford to buy anything, et cetera. So almost without exception, every one of my sellers right now is leaving San Diego and moving to someplace cheaper, which is, a common theme. So the big question is, for the people that don't want to leave, where are they going to go? So that's why I'm really interested in these programs that, allow them to be a cash buyer, because then the other thing is they also feel like even if they want to buy something locally, they're going to get beat out and so forth. So letting people know that they can be a cash buyer, I think, is huge before they sell their house. And also, I've got a lot of people like that. So I'm going to call your guy, Bobby. But at any rate, it's just staying in contact to simplify it, whether it's via, I do email my past clients. I put a BombBomb video in there. But picking up the phone, I'm also on the phone a lot when I'm in the car. I'm never really just sitting there listening to the radio. I'm always on the phone because I feel like that's just a great time. I don't even mind driving places like to appointments, because I know that that's an hour that I got where I can be on the phone, right? So I might as well be going somewhere. But I also, I think the evergreen webinars are great too. You can do a webinar one time and then have it. It's called an evergreen webinar. People can go on and sign up and sign up and sign up, and you get leads that way. So I think I use the same one that Mitch mentioned. It's kind of expensive. It's like $1,000 a year or something like that. But those are great because you don't have to personally be on that webinar every time, and you can run it, forever. So that's all I got.
I like it. Good tips. Now we're going to go to our VIP, Michael Mayer from Referco. And listen, I love this guy. Michael's a genius when it comes to really tapping into your database, tapping into your SOIs, and he's going to give you some great nuggets, you guys. And this is something to really take some notes on, because I guarantee you this will 10x your business this year. If you look at your years starting today and the tips that Michael gives you and the programs that he runs, this is a grand slam. So Michael, take it away.
Yeah, I've got nothing for you. Seriously. I mean, how do you follow those four? And you too, Pete. I think it's one of those where, I mean, look at this crap. I took 2 pages of notes on everything that I heard here so far. I think my first fear is that we're going to overwhelm the audience, right? I mean, it's like, oh my God, they're sitting there right now. They're ordering KV Core, Bomb, go to webinar, go to meeting, the Zoom upgrade package. They're looking at Kajabi to do a evergreen webinar, and, they're figuring out what send out cards looks like, So I think do all that. Let's go. It's like, why are you doing all that? It's like, because I can't. I have 2 kids and, I'm a stay-at-home mom. And, it's like, all right, so what can you do? Right? You can do 2 things, no matter who you are. You can have conversations and you can have events. So I truly believe it boils down to success in real estate with your database comes down to conversations and events. How many conversations are you having every day? I'm guarantee you that the other 5 people on this panel are having lots of conversations every day. Many of them lead to real estate. Some of them might even be real estate related right from the get-go, but most of them aren't real estate related from the get-go. They turn into real estate. Why? Because they know they're realtors, not realtors, right, Mitch? They know they're realtors. So they're the conversation is gonna go, how's the market? Or I hear the market's really hot, or whatever. And you gotta be ready for that question, right? The market's really hot, except for one thing, right? And then what's your one thing? And the one thing is, I've got this buyer I really need to find a home for. And then you talk about that buyer, right? If they, how's the market? The market's great, except for one thing, right? One thing is I've got this buyer, or I've got this house, or I've got this problem is I'm out of inventory, right? So I think conversations is the key. If you're not having, here's the thing. If you're not having any conversations a day on real estate, you're probably struggling. So have 1 today, and then do 2 tomorrow. See how it goes. If it's struggle to do 2, go back to 1. And then work your way up to 5 conversations a day. Work yourself up to 10 conversations a day. And here's the deal. The max you're going to probably be able to do in a day is 20 conversations a day. That's 100 conversations a week. You're good, right? But I'm telling you, you're having 100 conversations about real estate every week, or just 100 conversations. You're going to be busier than you've ever been. Now, that's the 1-to-1, right? And by the way, great comment, Chris. FGHJKL right from the keyboard. I don't know how to follow that. That's a tough one. So I'll answer that later. But the bottom line is more conversations. Now, the other thing is more events. An open house is an event. And like Bobby was saying, it's so funny, right? I mean, this brand new guy into agency, he holds an open house, and he got a 1.1 under contract, and he's got a $700,000 listing. And here's what's amazing to me about agents that I have over 1,000 clients who are literally, they aren't doing open houses. I have 5,208 clients, right? 1,000 of them aren't doing open houses. And it's like, you're freaking fired. You're fired from our program. If you're not doing open houses, then you're making a huge mistake. But the houses are selling so fast. It's like, all right, you get a listing, you're going to hold all offers till Monday. Now you're going to get the seller to agree to that, right? The seller's going to, trust me, the seller's going to agree to that because you want to get through the weekend. The market speaks the loudest in real estate over the weekend. So you want to speak to your seller after the market speaks the loudest. So you're going to have an open house on Sunday. And you might even have an open house for a backup contract the Sunday after that. But if you're not doing open houses, you're missing out. Now, how happy are our buyers when they get into a home? When they win from 38 offers, right? And they're the ones that win because we went through New American Funding and Rich Mara gave us a cash deal, even though our clients only had really $5,000 to their name, but we got a cash offer going in and it worked, right? So we got $1 million home with $35,000 down. We'll tell you about that later. But here's the thing is they get the home. How do they feel? They feel fantastic. If you are not doing housewarming parties 30 to 60 days after closing, you're making a huge mistake. And I'm telling you, the easiest thing in the world is to set up a housewarming party. It's at their house. You don't have to worry about a venue. It's food. You don't have to worry about food. Have them provide the beverages, so you don't worry about alcohol or anything else. Have them provide beverages and desserts and just have the party at their house. That's the start. Now we have a whole housewarming party system that you can find more details on at housewarmingparties.com, that kind of thing. Open house, housewarming parties, and then you've got to have your own events, right? And I'm not a fan of one. I'm really not a fan of zero. But I'm not a fan of one. I'm a real fan of 3 events a year for everyone you know, and I'm a real fan of 4 events for your VIP every year. Quarterly events for your VIP people, your top people. Because you know what? And by the way, you're like, I don't know if I can do 7 events. Don't do 7 events. Do 4 events for your top people. And you're like, well, I only have like 5 people who are referring me. No, these are the top 25 people you know. Even if they've never referred you, you need to invite them to your VIP club, to your VIP, whatever you want to call it. For me, it was always the ambassadors, right? I had my ambassadors club. So conversations and events are really what it boils down to. I also truly believe that the buyer's consultation is a huge opportunity right now. Is, meeting with buyers and explaining what's going to happen in the market, like setting them down in a Zoom or setting them down in person and doing your buyer's consultation where you explain the process and then you let them know, hey, listen, you may not get that first house. You may, here's the deal. And you tell stories of your clients. But when we're doing buyer's consultations, we're walking out of the buyer's consultation with 1 or 2 referrals, and we're also walking out with 3 to 5 referrals to our vendor partners and the vendors we love. We call them vendors we love, right? Which are the people who sponsor our events and we trade business back and forth with, right? So, I mean, I get the good thing is I could go on and on. The bad thing is I could go on and on. I think it really boils down to conversations and events.
Michael, I love that. And, we all know this works. I had somebody the other day, I just want to share this story real fast. I was talking to another agent and he said to me, Pete, in the past, I was surprised. I sent somebody to you that joined your team and he didn't succeed. And I said, wow, that's surprising. Why didn't he succeed? Because I have systems, and if you just apply yourself and show up and stop telling people that you're busy and reach out and create relationships, you're going to win. You're going to win. And he said, well, that's what I thought too. But what he wanted you to have him do was open houses. And we all know open houses don't work. I said, yeah, 64% of the time it works for me. I don't know how it works for other people, but that's my number on the open houses that I double end. So
here's the thing with open house. 100% of the time it works. 100% of the time it open. I mean, it's activity. Right? I mean, it's momentum. Like what works in the marketplace? It's momentum. You got to overcome inertia and you got to know what relationships you have momentum in and what relationships you don't have momentum. It's exactly what Mitch was saying about the 49,000 who don't move when he sends an email. Forget them. Don't worry about them. The 8,000 that do move, you now have momentum. It's amazing how one little email can turn into something that turns into something that turns into a client that turns into a closing, that turns into a huge referral source. I also believe that we've got to change the way we think about business. And I know a lot of people are talking about going from transactional to relational. And guess what? I think that's a great step in the right direction, but I think we're stopping too short. I think we need to go from transactional through relational to transformational. We need to think about every client. We're going to transform them into a raving fan ambassador who is out on the streets referring us, and they're part of our community, our tribe of trust forever. They're never going to leave because we're going to provide so much value. We're going to do so much for them. They're never going to have to leave the nest, which is our group, right? Our tribe of trust, like my generosity generation. So it's one of those where, you know, that's the power of the events too. Conversations, you're like, I don't know what to have the conversations about. Well, first of all, just checking in on people like Matt was saying and Pete was talking about earlier. Mitch was talking about riding around with Pete, and all Pete was doing check-in calls, right? And here's the thing is when you have 3 events a year for everyone, you literally have a reason to communicate with people every day of the year. Before your event, you're inviting them. Right after the event, you're talking about how great the event was, and you're inviting them to the next one. All year long, you're inviting and talking about the event. You always have a reason to call. And if they've already said they're going to go to the event, now you're confirming. And now you have another, you always have the events. The energy is in the events. The power is in the invitation, and the fortune is in the follow-up. And that's the whole thought around. I mean, here's the deal. Bottom line is conversations and events. And if you don't know what to have a conversation about, go back to events.
I agree with that 100%, you know, because I'll make it really clear for you guys. Quick analogy. If you went into the doctors and you had a major surgery, or one of your loved ones had a major surgery, and that doctor reaches out to you the next day after the surgery, how do you feel? Now, even if you don't feel great because of the surgery, it sends a warm feeling that the doctor cares and is really checking in on you. If you never heard from the doctor, how many people are you going to refer to that doctor because they don't have the right bedside manner, in a sense? Same in real estate. People sell people houses. They go through this very intimate time. They create these intimate relationships, and then they never call them again. It doesn't make sense. You know, we're an industry that loves to learn the hard way. We love to keep trying to recreate the wheel. When the wheel's already built, you just got to oil it. That's it. Just keep it oiled and keep it running. And a lot of people, you know, mishit this all the time. I'm one of them. I'm the first to raise my hand and say I'm not the best at that. But what I try to do is just little things, little touches. Remember people's birthdays. Reach out to them. You know, one of my past clients the other day said, "You're the only person who always remembers my birthday." Always, always. And guys, I usually call them right before midnight, or I call them first thing in the morning. I want to be the first out of the gate, and I send them a funny video or something. Just try this. I'm telling you, even if you just call them and leave a message and then text them and say, "Happy birthday." You know, Pete knows birthdays. And then I usually go on YouTube and I type in, you know, "happy birthday" with their name, and something pops up, and it's very personalized. It may be dog singing happy birthday, but it says, "Happy birthday, Michael." Michael's going to say, not only is Pete a great guy, he remembered my birthday, and he sent something to me that's personal, right? So it doesn't have to always be cookies and brownies and this and that. If you can do that, that's great. But we're in a crazy society right now where know your client. They may be a diabetic. They eat the brownies, they're not going to be around unless you're trying to get listings, and maybe that'll work. But because they'll have to sell the house, unfortunately. But that's how I think you have to look at it. So Michael, walk people through. I know a lot of people have talked about events. I think events are overwhelming to the average agent. They look at, do I have the money to do it? Walk people through, how do you start with very small events or certain types of events that don't cost you much? How do you do that?
Yeah. So lots of examples. Mitch, did you have something to add to that before I?
Yeah, just real quick. Just kind of going along with what you guys are saying is one of the things, you know, especially if in a little off of your circle of influence group, but more on your internet leads, if someone gives you a phone number and it's a good phone number, they expect you to call them. And if you're not calling them and following up with them, they don't just say, "By the way, I'm not going to ever use, you know, Matt Battiati. I'm never going to use EXP." And so, you know, it's your reputation that you're giving up. I've had so many consumers call and say, "Yeah, I registered on this person's site, gave them my phone number, and never heard from them. So I registered on somebody else's site, and they called me." So you got to make phone calls. You got to pick up the phone, right? Go ahead, Mike.
And Mike, just before you start, I'm going to add to that real fast because we're around 4 minutes left, and I really want to plug Mike. Guys, here's a really easy tip that you can do today. It doesn't have to do with events, but it has to do with conversion. Okay, with anyone, whether you think you have a relationship with them or not. Take out the thing in your hand. It's going to usually be an iPhone. All right, take out your phone, walk outside anywhere in the city or town that you live in, and just give them a quick update. Hey, it's Pete Middleton over here at the real estate office. Want to give you a quick update. It's 74 degrees today on March 31st in La Jolla. Look at how beautiful it is here. People are walking around, they're shopping. I'm the area expert in this area. I specialize in this area. I saw that you reached out for some information. I would love to help you and your family find a great opportunity. But this is what's happening in our town right now. You know, next week is the Concourse to Elegance. After that, we have the Wine and Food Festival. Right there, you're sending a subliminal message to them that I'm hyper local. I'm connected to the community. I know what's going on. I'm the person you want to work with, because everybody else just works and they call and they'll say, hi, how you doing? Yeah, this is Mitch. No offense, Mitch. This is a hypothetical because I love you. But Mitch would call and say, hey, it's Mitch. I saw that you called in on this property and I wanted to get back to you. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But if there's nothing to connect them to you, they might have made 10 different calls. Separate yourself by being the expert in the areas they're looking at. You know, talk about the schools, talk about the community, talk about the demographics, talk about what's going on. But just say, I'm in the area, I work this area, I live in this area, I love this area, I'd love to help you, I'd love to give you insight on it, whatever I can do. I know all the best opportunities on market, off market, you know, and then just start naming the list. Pre-foreclosures, divorces, estates, trusts, foreclosure lists, whatever it is. You know, people moving out of state lists, people downsizing, people upsizing, people retiring, you know, whatever it takes. People who went surfing, never came back, whatever we have to do, right? And you just keep engaging with them because they're going to see your face in a video. It speaks volumes. Michael, go ahead. Close it out for us. 2 minutes.
So, first of all, the day before the birthday call is a necessity for all of you. Put it in your database. Give yourself a 24-hour reminder. Call the day before the birthday, right? And you can do a video before the birthday, or you can do a text message the day before the birthday. But you want to be first, right? You either want to be first or you want to be last. And with a birthday, it's always best to be first. Everybody else is posting on Facebook, so some type of message like that. The easy answer on the events is to go somewhere and just buy the people whatever it is. So an example is we did this with James Nellis in DC. He invited 5,000 people 5 different ways: video, email, Facebook post, text message, and then another email. And he said that on donut day, he's going to buy them donuts. Anybody that shows up at any of these 5 donut shops is going to get a dozen donuts on James Nellis. Out of 5,000 people, how many showed up?
20.
12 out of 5,000, right? So he paid $144 and touched 5,000 people 5 times, 25,000 touches, right? And still getting business from doing that. Another one is I love you latte or thanks a latte, and you camp out at a Starbucks from 3 to 5 p.m. and you tell everybody that, hey, I'm going to be at this Starbucks, I'm buying the coffee. And then one that I became famous for in Kansas City was the happy hour, right? I literally would say, I'm going to go to this bar Friday. I'm buying the first drink for anybody who shows up between 5 and 7. And I would buy their first drink and hang out and we'd have a great, and then I'd leave at 7 o'clock, right? So it's one of those where those, you think they would cost a lot. I'd never walked out with a bill higher than $440 for my happy hours. And you would think it would be a lot more than that. So please notice that people are coming in and networking. The other thing too is I also had a lot of strangers who are already at these places, and I'm buying them beer, I'm buying them coffee, I'm buying them donuts as well. Everywhere I go, I mean, it's just one of those things where you just get in the habit of this and it turns into great things. So,
Michael, how can people connect with you? How can they get your systems and your program? This is very important.
Yeah, so I think the best way is to join my tribe of trust, right? Joingengen.com. It is a large referral community. We don't have every burg and city covered in the United States. And, you know, it is global. We have Bahamas and Canada as well. But it's one of those where the first step is to join gengen.com. And that's our Facebook group. It's private. You'll have to answer a few questions. Let them know Michael sent you. And that's the first way to start. And then we have a free mastermind every first Thursday, and we have a women's mastermind every second Thursday, and then we have a implementation mastermind the third Thursday of every month, and so that you can implement like a lot of the ideas that you got from today. If you had one or two you wanted to put into play, you could camp out with the implementers of the Gen and get that done in an hour. So
what's the most amount of referrals you have received from one event?
248.
So 248 referrals, you guys, of people who want to work with Michael and buy houses off one event. He didn't have to put in ads every week at 1,000 an ad. He didn't have to, you know, run around and chase people or buy Zillow leads or Redfin leads or anything like that.
I also made $12,225 doing the event.
So he's teaming up with certain vendors that are committed to his events that he brings in and they pay for it. So the event costs him nothing. He makes positive money, plus gets 236 referrals.
245.
Oh,
so here's,
sorry, I'm not trying to knock it down.
But here's the thing I want you to know on that is that we have clients of ours who have gotten over 200 referrals in one day. We have a guy who just was on Referrals Podcast that you can check out, referralspodcast.com. He has 36 referrals that he's gotten in 6 months of working with us. 36 referrals. And he got 12 in one day and he got 24 in another.
That's unreal. So hopefully that helps you guys today and really changes your mindset on how to do this business. Referrals, I'm typing as fast as I can. I'm not a good typer. I'm only 2 fingers.
This might be the most awesome panel I've ever been on. I just want to throw that out there. You look around the faces on this. The only thing that could have made it better is if we had somebody of color or a woman, right? And I can't fake that. I can't be that. So, but it's one of those where it's like, look at the power in this room, right? I mean, I hope people watch this recording over and over and over again. Like I said, I took 2 pages of notes myself. So,
and Mike, how do we make this a big win for everybody who's attended this and has gotten so many nuggets from Bobby and Matt and Mitch and Craig and you? How can they make it a big win and put this into action?
Pick one and do it. I would say the number one thing they could do, honestly, is right after this, they could do 2 things. One is they could look at their notes and circle the 1, 2, or 3 things that they can do for free, they can do really fast. And then the next thing they should do is pick up the phone and call their mom or their dad or their brother or their sister or their spouse or their daughter or their son and just tell them they love them and just go from there.
There you go.
Attitude and gratitude. I love it. Michael, if somebody wants your program, which I'm going to be doing myself, you guys, I've been in real estate now 31 years. I'm going to be doing that. How do they sign up with you or get involved in your program?
You know what? I appreciate that. I think the big thing is to join gengen.com, right? Join Gengen, get a feel for our community first. What we do is not right for everyone, right? A lot of people come to us from other places, other coaching companies, and because they're looking for kind of that next step, like a graduate program. So I think the big thing is check us out at joingengen.com, go read 7L, and then check out referco.com when you can. But I would join the Generosity Generation and just look around the group, and then let's talk, right?
I think that's super important because Michael is the one that taught me, you guys, and one of the most valuable nuggets he ever gave me. And I'll close out on this. I know we're over, but this is too good to stop. He said, Pete, we've moved away from people coming in and validating their services or validating their ego. And we've moved to how can we make this the biggest win for you and your family and come from a place of generosity. I'm telling you guys, this is gold. If you do this right, you'll have the best professional real estate career ever. You'll never be without leads and listings and great relationships, and you won't need to spend huge amounts of money to keep generating that. It will build itself. I'm telling you, if you build it, they will come, right? Mitch loves that. He's a baseball player like I am. That's the key. And if you build it, they will come. They'll come to the events. But guess what? They may not make every event, but at least it keeps you in front of them and you're top of mind. That's the key to the whole real estate relationship. It's a relationship. It's not a burn and turn if you want to have longevity. All right, guys, listen, great panel. We'll put out next week what we're going to do. We'll come up with something. If anybody has any suggestions, let me know. But I thank everybody for being here. Michael Mayer, our special guest. Michael, thank you so much for making it happen.
Thanks, Michael.
Love you, buddy. And everybody have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.
See you, everybody.
Take care.